Today, I want to talk to you about something that might make you just a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to ask you to consider what happens in intimate human relationships and how that applies to getting more clients. Okay, just so you know, I'm going to keep this family friendly and not adult rated, so don't worry. But I'm going to ask you to think about how intimate behaviour in terms of growing human relationships is exactly what you need to model to get better clients with an easier path to sales. If you want more clients, you've probably dabbled in marketing, but it's probably not getting you the results you want. You don't even like the way you're doing marketing, but it's all you know and it's all you've been taught. Even if you've had expert help with marketing, you've probably been disappointed in the results. I used to do marketing like that too, but I learned that that type of marketing doesn't work for consultants. Here's what nobody in the traditional marketing world wants to tell you. The entire model you learned, the 4 Ps, the campaigns, the funnels, the promotions, was built to sell products, not professional services, not consulting, not coaching, not advisory work. And today I'm going to show you a completely different model, one rooted in something called intimate behaviour, and it will change how you think about getting clients forever. My name's Greg Roworth, and for the last 10 years I've been helping professional service businesses, consultants, coaches and advisors build client relationships that last. Not just land the next gig, but build genuine long-term commitments that transform their businesses. What I'm sharing today came out of 2 decades of experience, starting as someone cold calling strangers for appointments, grinding through that rejection that comes with that, all the way to developing a system that makes a sale feel almost inevitable. And the insight that unlocked all of this came from an unlikely place. A researcher studying human intimacy. Stick with me, because this is going to reframe everything. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth about how most consultants market themselves. Everything we learned about marketing, whether from a university course, your MBA, or just watching the world around us, was built for the industrial age. It's designed around products. Push the message out, run the campaign, make the sale, move on. Think about it. Philip Kotler's marketing Bible, the one used in almost every business degree on the planet, has 23 chapters. Do you know how many cover professional services? 1, the last chapter, 8 pages out of 750 odd pages. The whole framework just doesn't fit what we do, and no one knows any different. But we don't know any better, and that's what's important. We copy what we see. We put our name out in front of people. We talk about our services, our credentials, our processes. We try to convince people they need us. We follow up, we push, we pressure. Sound familiar? That's what I call seduction marketing. And in consulting, seduction backfires. Because here's the thing about pressure in selling professional services. Even if it gets people to your sales meeting, you've already lost. You get resistance in the sales call and you get asked to present your proposal. You may get the contract signed, but the client has buyer's remorse. They're not emotionally invested. They resist the process. They don't show up fully. The results suffer and you're stuck talking to someone who doesn't really want to be there. The sale is meaningless if the relationship doesn't work. So let me offer you a new objective, and I want you to write this down. The intention of marketing your professional services is not to make sales. It is to create a foundation to connect with potential clients in order to grow a long-term committed relationship that has maximum positive impact on them. Notice what's missing? The word sale. It's not the goal. It's not even the point. The goal is the relationship, the long-term commitment, the genuine transformation of your client's situation. Marketing thinker Seth Godin puts it brilliantly. He says the most important question in marketing is, do they trust me enough to believe my promises? And he says the biggest challenge in marketing is to stop acting like a marketer and start acting like a human. That's it. Trust, humanity. That's your new marketing strategy. Now, here's where it gets interesting and where the idea of intimate behaviour comes in. Researcher Desmond Morris, the author of The Naked Ape and the lesser-known book called Intimate Behaviour, studied how human relationships develop, and he identified 12 distinct points of intimacy that occur in a growing relationship in a very specific sequence. It starts with eye to body, the first glance, then eye to eye, then voice to voice, the first conversation, then gradually, step by step, hand to hand, arm to shoulder, arm to waist, all the way through to full commitment. Now, here's the critical insight. Each step represents a lowering of emotional defences and an increase in trust. Each stage requires the other person to feel safe enough to let you come a little bit closer. You can't skip a step. You can't rush them. And if you try, if you move too fast, you get shut down. There are two completely different journeys you can take through these 12 points. The first is seduction. The goal is to get to physical consummation as quickly as possible. It's about what you want. It's fast, pushy, focused on one outcome. The second path is courtship. The goal is a long-term partnership. It's about both people deciding together that this is a right relationship they want. It's slower, more intentional, and infinitely more powerful. Traditional marketing is just like seduction. What we're building is more like courtship. And here's the magic of courtship. When you do it right, the commitment at the end becomes almost inevitable. Both people want it and are moving inevitably towards it. By the time a potential client is seriously considering working with you, they've already decided. You're not convincing them anymore. You're just confirming what they already believe. Imagine what your sales conversations would feel like if that were true for you. I've written a short guidebook on exactly how to do that. If you'd like to dig deeper, check the link in the description below to get access to my free white paper called Strategic Authority Marketing. So let's map the courtship model onto your consulting marketing process. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a blueprint. Step one is the first glance. Your potential client has a problem. They start searching, looking on Google, LinkedIn, YouTube, asking their peers. They come across something you've written, an article, a post, maybe a video. Their eyes scan it. Is this relevant to me? This is eye to body. You have 1 second. Your content needs to speak directly to their problem, not about you, not about your services, about their pain. Step two is initial attraction. They read further. Something resonates. They're thinking, this person gets it. This sounds like exactly what I'm dealing with. Now you have their attention. This is about demonstrating that you truly get them. You really understand their world, deeply, specifically, empathetically. Step three is about the first conversation. They click through, they read more, they watch the video. They're starting to evaluate, not whether to buy yet, but whether it's worth spending more time with you here. At this stage, you're asking for time, not money. Give generously. Don't ask for the opt-in too fast. Let them consume what you're offering before you ask them to give you anything. Steps 4 to 6 are getting to know each other. Now they're engaged. Maybe they've signed up to your email list because they wanted to, not because you trapped them with a pop-up after 3 seconds. They're reading your newsletters. They're watching your videos. Maybe they attend a webinar. Each piece of content deepens trust. They're starting to see your character and your competence, and both matter. Author Stephen M.R. Covey puts it simply, trust is a function of character and competence. You need both. Steps 7 to 9 are going steady. At this point, your potential client starts to think of you as their advisor, even though you've never spoken. They quote you to colleagues, they save your articles, they are emotionally invested in your thinking. This is the phase where they start to wonder, could I work with this person? Then steps 10 to 12 is about the inevitable commitment. They reach out, they make an inquiry, they want to have a conversation. And here's what's different from traditional sales. They arrive already convinced. The conversation isn't about selling, it's about fit, logistics, how to get started. The sale is almost a formality. That's the power of building your marketing like courtship. You're not overcoming objections, you're inviting them into a relationship and they're choosing to engage. Now, I want to be practical for a moment because this isn't just philosophy. Building a courtship-based marketing system means making some specific decisions. And first, it's about knowing who you're courting. Just like someone serious about finding a life partner thinks carefully about what they're looking for, you need a crystal clear picture of your ideal client. Not just demographics, but an intimate knowledge of their values, their mindset, what they've tried before, what's frustrated them, and what success looks like for them. The clearer you are, the more magnetic your content becomes to exactly the right people. Second, it's show up consistently. Inconsistency breeds suspicion. Consistency builds trust. You can't run a campaign once every 6 months when you're desperate for work and call it marketing. You need a system, regular content, regular touch points, a predictable presence in your ideal client's world. You want to be the person they think of first when the problem becomes urgent. Third is control the full journey. Most consultants only enter the buying conversation when a potential client is already comparing proposals. At that point, you're just another vendor. But if you've been in the conversation from the start, when they were first searching for answers, by the time they're ready to decide, there's really only one choice, you. The fourth element is be patient with the process. Everyone comes with their own history. Some potential clients have been burned before. They're wary. Rushing them won't help, it'll push them away. Your patience and consistency is a signal that you're trustworthy. You take the lead, but you don't rush them to take the next step before they're ready. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Marketing for consultants is not about campaigns, clever copy, or pushing your services in front of strangers. It's about building trust, step by step, the same way human beings have always built meaningful relationships. It's about courtship, not seduction. It's about character and competence. It's about being consistently present, genuinely helpful, and deeply focused on your client's world, not your own. When you do this right, you stop chasing clients. Clients find you. They arrive already trusting you. The sale becomes a conversation, not a contest. And your business stops being feast and famine and starts becoming a steady, growing community of long-term relationships that deliver real results for real people. That's the goal. That's what marketing done right can build for you. If this way of thinking about marketing resonates with you, I'd love to show you more. I've written a short guidebook on exactly how to get more clients with intimate behaviour. Check the link in the description below to get access to my free white paper called Strategic Authority Marketing. And if you know another consultant or coach who's stuck in the old model, please share this with them. It might just change the way they see their whole business. And there are also other videos on this channel where you can learn more about this process, starting with this one here.